We are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris.
Scott.
JB4.
All right, so we don't really have anything to review per se. Well, John and I kind of do, but I mean, there's some other stuff that we're just going to kind of freestyle and just bullshit about. So in a very light news cycle, there's a couple of things that I saw as a result of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But before we get to that,
Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, I didn't see it. But there's some articles that I saw.
I hear that movie's doing well.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. I feel like I'm on Tag Paid Go. Like I'm,
Hey,
we'll talk about it and then,
And then we don't talk about it. That's my job.
That's it. Anyway,
Tag Pay Go, incidentally, is Scott Freelo's very
parody
brief and funny podcast.
Yeah, it is funny. So
unlike this one.
Yeah, we'll get back to it, but first,
this one's funny.
A message from our sponsor.
This one's funny. It's just funny in the wrong way.
Oh,
it is. So, all right. Well, first of all, what we're going to talk about is that Disney Plus provided us a list of the 20 essential Clone Wars episodes that we should watch.
I like to think Dave Filoni personally provided it. There's no proof of that, but
yeah, and that's what, we'll believe that.
Yeah.
We'll carry along with that.
He certainly had to give it his blessing, right?
I mean, I'm sure that they like bullshit with him a little bit. I would assume,
well,
either
who
that
else
or
came
like
up with it if he didn't come up with it.
Well, I mean, what you have to realize, man, is that there are being a Star Wars lore master is a real job. I mean, they have several of them.
Yeah.
That if you want to sit on some
You're
shit,
in the wrong business, Chris.
Oh no,
Right?
Trust me, dude. I know some things here and there, but compared to some of these fucking nerds, oh god, dude. I mean, it's
You could be a PA. Or
it's crazy.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted me to, dude, I'd love to do like a non-PC Disney show just on Star Wars. That'd be great. That'd be so great. Anyway, but I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars, I guess, lore masters and archivists that you can actually go to, and I mean, they probably know more about the shit than the people that worked on it. I mean, just because they're kind of looking at it from an outsider view, I mean, I'm sure that when you work on a lot of this stuff, things kind of start jumbling together, especially when you have to make deadlines and do shit like that. Exactly. But I'm getting to the 20 essential episodes. I watched all 20 of the essential episodes. I rewatched them. They run about 21 minutes. Thanks to John, I am a big fan of the Clone Wars because when I initially watched it, I was like, man, it's a fucking kid show. I really don't want to waste my time. And John said, man, it's really not a kid show. It does start off and it kind of follows the very kiddified movie that they released. It kind of starts on that, but man, it gets pretty serious in only a season later. And sure enough, man, season 2, there's a story arc that takes place with a group of clones that are known as the Bad Bunch, and their job or their mission is they have to go and attack Geonosis again, which is ramping up their droid facilities, to build more armies for the Separatists and all that shit. And man, this thing's like Saving Private Ryan. It's fucking hardcore.
It is.
I mean, man, people getting fucking smoked. I mean, it pulls no punches. I mean, yes, it is animated, but man, I mean, when it gets into the latter episodes, and I mean, it gets into the serious subject matter of really propelling big storylines, man, that shit goes out the window. In fact, you kind of forget it's a kid's show. And I the beauty of it is that all these backgrounds and all these textures, it's only something that you could pull off in animation due to the budget restraints. I mean, To do something like this on that scale, to do it live action, you would have to do it in a short form kind of movie.
Well, what's interesting watching those 20 episodes is you're essentially watching 5 seasons worth of story arcs in fast forward, but you're also watching technology improve over the course of it. So, their features get a little smoother, their hair gets a little more detailed. It's a very interesting watch if you've seen the whole series already. But I think they did a really good job of cherry picking key story points and having it be cohesive without requiring you to watch every single episode. Like you pretty much follow what's going on, even though you know, one episode may be from season 2 and then the next one is 5 episodes into season 3. And you're still following what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I did. Even though I did see these movies, I see these shows, I can't, recall all of the fine details because it's been a while since I've watched it. And, I mean, man, you're talking about... This shit ran like a regular TV show on network. I mean, you're talking 22 episodes per season. Granted, they're only 21 minutes or 22 minutes, because
but
they
all
were
CGI, and that level of computer animation for a television show was unheard of.
Oh, it's groundbreaking. And I mean, but the thing with it is that, I mean, still, that's a big catalog of shit to watch. That's a lot of stuff. If you're going to sit there now, I intend on rewatching the entire series once this season 7 finishes its run.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. Like, it's gorgeous, and it sounds great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really a reward to watch. And when I first watched it, I binge watched it because Netflix was about to lose it. So I'd multitask, and I missed like 50% of the plot points. So watching it again, I was like, oh shit, that's serious. Oh shit, that's amazing. Or I mean, it was a very rewarding experience.
So back just to rewind here real quick, and Scott, you can jump in anytime you want. I know you didn't watch this shit, but I mean, I
watched one episode of the essential 20 episodes, and that was episode 1.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that
Series
episode one, I don't think is a fair. I think I understand why they wanted you to watch that. It's just for the simple fact, say, look, this is the first episode, and this is kind of like, it kind of preps you what it's visually going to look like. There is an important thing that happens in that episode, which is really awesome. And what happens, just spoiler, what ends up happening in this episode is that Yoda actually sits down with these clones and teaches them that they are individuals and they're just not something that's just kind of spat out of a petri dish. I mean, they're just, you are an individual. You take your helmets off. Let me look at you. Oh, we all look the same. Yeah, but you're not the same. And he kind of shows them that they have individuality. And what's really cool about it is that, or tragic, is that he's fostering these soldiers along who are just kind of like, pumped out as masses. Mm-hmm. And eventually it's going to be those very soldiers that kill the Jedi.
Right.
And what's super interesting to me in watching it is, have you seen the movie?
I've seen everything.
Right. Uh-huh. So, what's interesting is I think George Lucas imagined initially this would be the further adventures of Anakin to kind of beef up his character in between movies. And what watching these 20 key episodes made me realize is that I think along the way they realized, we really kind of cover his story arc in the 3 movies. We can have him here. Obviously, he's a key player, but the series ends up being a lot more about what goes on in the margins, the soldiers.
Oh, absolutely.
Darth Maul, the Mandalorians. Like, there are entire episodes where Anakin and Ben Kenobi aren't anywhere to be seen.
Yeah, right.
And I don't miss them at all. It's great.
Well, and that's what makes it good, is that telling long-form stories like that is that you can really stretch out and you can look into the different corners of these characters. I mean, that's one thing that you can say about Star Wars is that, you got a character that's standing in a cantina that's on the screen for 5 seconds, and somebody writes a fucking novel about the character.
Yep.
It's what makes the Mandalorian so great.
Yeah, I went back and I listened to our Rise of the Skywalker review, which we did at the end of last year, and it was the 3 of us and our buddy Ray. And I in particular, I paid attention to what we all ranked the Star Wars movies, what we thought was best to worst. I have to honestly say, man, this Clone Wars show, revisiting that again, this, if you look at the body of work as a whole, this is up there with the original trilogy, The Mandalorian, Rogue One. It's that top tier of the franchise. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think that if you hate the Star Wars prequels, this is like a beautiful apology. We're sorry that you really didn't like those movies.
Right.
But we're going to show you, we're going to kind of take it and we're going to even do some mild retconning. They retcon without retconning it, if that makes any sense. And you
No, it
really...
doesn't.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is that they expand a lot of things. Like, I mean, dude, Ahsoka is not even a mentioned character in Episode 3, and she's such a major component to Anakin's development as a Jedi Knight and Jedi Master. And, I mean, they've done beautifully why she's not mentioned and all that shit. But the thing with it is, man, is that, like, you can almost, like, accept it. Because you're like, dude, the Clone Wars is so fucking good. I was telling John the other day over the text, I was like, I almost wish that Filoni would kind of go back and be like, hey, look, for sport, we're going to redo the prequels as animated movies in this style and make it all seamlessly gel together. I think that would be really fucking cool. It'll never happen, but I mean, I think that would be cool if something like that happened.
I mean, it kind of is happening with the Clone Wars. They can go back and back, and they can still tiptoe around those plot lines without stepping on anybody's toes, but still step on a few. Almost like you just said, retcon without retconning.
Yeah, I mean, all the boring governmental shit that happened in Episode 1 where you're sitting there like, oh my God, dude, all this fucking Senate chamber shit and all that stuff, all that crap's in Clone Wars. But it's so compelling because they mix it with good stakes because the characters are built so well in that show. You're like, oh, fuck, man, this is just awesome. It's so well done. I can't recommend it enough. It's great.
I'm curious how the new season will be compared to what was in the past. With I only say that because of all the shakeups and craziness and everything else that's going on with the movies. And is it going to fall back on the movies, meaning is it going to be bad, or will it sort of rise to the occasion like the Mandalorian did, or will it just be itself? And
this is going to complete what they built out to do, but this whole show takes place in between episodes 2 and 3.
I understand that.
But they said that what this one's going to do is that it's going to line up to the events right before episode 3 happens. So it's going to kind of be tucked in between the continuity, where Mandalorian, it's kind of like, yeah, it's tucked in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, but it's way off in a corner somewhere.
I mean quality.
Oh, and quality?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be very well
My
done.
guess is what they are trying to do is come up with enough connective tissue to give Darth Maul a fixture in the lore writ large, beyond him getting cut in half in Phantom Menace, and also explore possibly wrapping up the Han Solo from the Solo movie, his appearance in there. Like they've got to wrap that up.
Well, they have a lot of, when it comes to Darth Maul, there's a lot of shit that they already have in comic books and stuff like that is now all part of the canon. But it's kind of like there's large chunks of years of things happening to him that are missing, and they're still fleshing those things out.
So 2 questions, and I don't care if you answer them. They bring back Darth Maul, and do they explain why Darth Maul is back? Okay.
Yes, in those 20 episodes, it's amazing.
I absolutely, I went through this on the Rise of Skywalker. I absolutely hate when they bring back dead characters. I don't like that. I don't like resurrecting characters. But the Darth Maul character was disposed of way too soon. Honestly, I think Darth Maul should have been the villain throughout all 3 movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. On paper, they're going to bring back Darth Maul? How the fuck are they going to do that?
Right.
And then you watch the episodes and you're like, dude, this is fucking brilliant.
Okay.
It is amazing.
When you first see Darth Maul, it's, I dare say, and this is the point at which, because I had watched the whole thing straight through, because the 3 episodes prior to his appearance, you meet his brother, who is a yellow version of him. And then you meet, like, you understand the culture, the race, and how they got to be how they are. They're actually a matriarchal society, so they're essentially run by voodoo witches, pretty much. They're the decision makers. And then he's tasked with finding his brother, and you're like, oh, here we go. they're bringing Darth Maul back, and then when you see him, it is a harrowing, like you feel pity for the character.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, I was like, I can't believe I'm feeling this way about a Cartoon Network show.
And after they bring him back, what's great is that the character's really only purpose in episode 1 was to be this really impressive, like, dark Jedi Cuisinart. That was like, we're used to a big lumbering bad guy that's like, massive and is just this lumbering Hulk that just fucking destroys shit with his
Jedi
sword.
Ninja.
Yeah, this guy's basically like this guy, Jedi Ninja, martial artist shit. That was really the character's only purpose, was to something that looked cool and was kind of a roadblock to the characters, to the Jedi characters, basically lifting the fucking barricade over Naboo. This man, they give him a new purpose.
Yeah.
And the way he does this thing, and he sits back, he's like, okay, well, look, this is my purpose. And my whole purpose is to fuck everybody who fucked me. That's my whole purpose.
Revenge.
But this is how I'm going to do it. And, dude, it is glorious. It is so awesome, the shit that he brings together. And, I mean, it ties in everything. All that underworld fucking criminal shit you always wanted to see in Star Wars, it's that and the Mandalorians all brought together, and it is exceptionally well done. Really, really cool.
And then my next question is: they bring Han Solo into the show?
No, they
you said
brought
Han
Darth Maul
Solo.
into Solo.
Oh,
remember?
okay. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I hated it so much.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they're going to wrap that up.
Well, I mean, as it stands right now,
It's a bizarre loose end. Like, that movie will not stand as a legacy unless they've got, if it's some, like 3 shorts even, just something.
if there's any character that needs a Disney Plus show, even if it's animated, it should be Darth Maul. I mean, even if it's animated, if they want to spin that off and be like, hey, look, we're going to take Darth Maul from Clone Wars and we're going to take it all the way. We're going to take it all the fucking way. I think but I think they should do it live action. It'd be awesome. I mean,
Yeah, Ray Park can still kick some butt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, his age now can kind of line up.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, I mean, shit. If you think, dude, it's crazy. That movie came out 21 years ago.
Oh God, that's
I mean,
That's
dude,
crazy.
it's so unreal. I mean, so that's the thing. You can progress that in time. What else is cool too is that these new 7 Clone Wars season, which at the time it's recording, I mean, it's gonna air on February 21st, which at the time we're recording this is tomorrow. But what's cool is that Ray Park came back, and all of the mocap that they used for the 7th season, Park did all of his own mocap for Darth Maul.
That's pretty cool.
And what else is cool too is that the guy who does the voice of Darth Maul was also there to make sure that all of the dialogue parts lined up with the mocap, which is just fucking amazing. So I really can't wait to see it. The thing that you're really going to get out of this, you're going to get a Darth Maul, you're going to get a Mandalorian storyline, you're going to get Ahsoka Tano, which is Anakin's Padawan, and I won't spoil that, but also the Bad Batch, which is a group of clones, which includes Captain Rex and those characters.
In the
that
20
we know.
episodes, that's what we're going to get. That's what you're talking about.
No. The new season is going to be 12.
No. You're talking about right now.
Oh, what I'm talking about is that the 20 essential episodes cover what I just said, and I think the reason they picked these 20 is because that's what we're going to see a continuation of in this final season.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm very happy that it's coming back and up there. I mean, man, look, don't let a cartoon throw you off. I mean, that first episode, Scott even texted, he's like, dude, if this is the way it is, I can't really see investing myself in this. And I'm like, look, dude, don't be the typical fucker that you are. Give it a chance and watch it. It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
It's
If you
very
can soldier
good.
through season 2 of Walking Dead, you can season through.
I 100% agree. And all you have to do is soldier through that first episode. After that, dude, it goes off, man.
I'd say the second episode is an exclusively clones versus the clowns of the Star Wars universe, the Wile E. Coyotes, the battle droids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the silly, dumbass battle droids. They have
they
have an upgraded version of the battle droids
Yeah.
that are called commando droids, and
Yes.
they're fucking hardcore.
They
dude.
are badass, but in that episode, they're sort of working together, and like I know that was chafing you, so that second episode may get under your skin, but
It chafes me too.
there's
but
a lot of really great episodes, especially the mall arc is wonderful. There's actually another arc that they didn't include in it, but they spend like half a season investigating like the nuances of the Force on that planet where Tom Baker
on Mortis.
on Mortis, or am I thinking of Rebels? Maybe I'm thinking of Rebels, but
Oh no, that's Rebels, but what you're thinking about is also explored in the. In fact, the sixth season, which is the Lost Missions, which was the
that's what I'm
incomplete
thinking
season.
of.
There's one where Yoda actually goes on like a vision quest.
Yeah.
And he's
On a
taught.
bike?
Yeah.
He's taught by. No, you're thinking of the wrestling movie.
Vision Quest was a movie with
Vision Quest starred Matthew Modine,
Yeah.
and it starred what was her name that was in Men in Black?
That was not the bike movie?
No, it was a wrestling movie. It was a movie about a high school wrestler. Vision
All right.
Quest. You want to bet me money? Because
No,
I'll
just
gladly
go
collect.
ahead.
I'll
I just
gladly
wanna-
collect. But anyway,
like everything.
Yeah.
Yoda goes on a vision quest about the Force, and not only is he met by Qui-Gon Jinn, who is voiced by Liam Neeson, that teaches him the disappearing trick in that episode. He also
Tripping balls am I?
He also has a a meeting with the Wills, which is the mythic creators of the Star Wars galaxy.
Like they get very theological on the show.
Yeah, dude, it's
Like,
so fucking well done. I can't recommend it enough. It's Clone Wars is better than some of those movies,
All right.
hands down. So, all right. Well, I mean, John,
I'm getting an I just can't from Scott right now. Serious, I just can't.
No,
vibe, but-
no. I mean, if it's better than what I've seen in the last,
so
excluding the Mandalorian, if it's better than what I've seen in the last year,
it's better than that.
because
Yeah.
It's better than these sequels.
You have this show to thank for The Mandalorian. I mean, it's cloned, so to speak, from the same DNA. It's
Gotcha.
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Mandalorian is like conceptualized by the same dude who did Clone Wars.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it's and look, if that doesn't turn you crank, skip to the fucking Maul episodes. Just watch,
right.
watch those alone, dude. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're so well done, really, really good.
Yeah, and then when Maul starts kicking ass, they're great fights.
And dude, I mean, the guy whoever the fucker is that did the voice, it's not the same guy who voiced him in episode 1. They got
it's the guy who voiced the apprentice in the game. Remember Vader's apprentice?
Force Unleashed.
Yeah, same guy.
This guy who voices Darth Maul, it is amazing to think that somebody can just augment their voice to be so fucking cruel. Like every time, it's like cruelty drips off of his words every time he talks. You're like, God, dude, he's such a menacing fuck. And it's really a shame those movies couldn't do justice to that character like that show has. It's really good. Are we finished blowing Clone Wars so we can?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. Look, can't recommend it enough. Watch it. Big thumbs up. Big recommendation. Watch it. Love it. Check out the new episodes that are coming out on Disney Plus if you have it, and go back and just spot watch. The 20 essential episodes are a good primer to get you to watch the other ones, but there's plenty of lists out there that say, hey, look, here's really the essential Clone Wars episodes where you can kind of watch everything without getting bogged down with stupid Jar Jar shit and all that stuff.
Right.
Because he's in some episodes. Not many,
Yikes.
but some. So, all right, anyway.
Roger.
We're going to move on to our second. Oh, dude, look, I fucking hate those fucking droids. I cannot stand those droids, but there is some legitimately funny shit that happens in those episodes with those droids. Really, really good stuff. It's funny shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on to the second part of the show here. I saw this article. It was written by the BBC, and they're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, which is surprisingly successful. They say it's had like the biggest video game opening for a movie of all time, unseating last year's Detective Pikachu. But man, this thing had like a $65 million opening. That's fucking massive, dude.
Yeah.
That's really big.
I read that it was 80, but
it was 80.
That's
Oh
what I
shit.
read, yeah.
Oh shit. That's even that's.
I mean, that's almost 100 million
Yeah, I mean that's blockbuster level movies. I mean,
Yeah.
there's live action movies that don't do that
for
right?
a property that really hasn't been a hot seller
so
for over a decade.
That somebody brought that up at work, and that's untrue. When Apple did their Apple Arcade, they just released that subscription thing. That was part of the thing. A new released Sonic. Do y'all remember that? Like
Well,
that was part of their big gaming thing.
Sonic came.
Sonic.
I feel that we were kind of in that
Apple.
spot. We were in a different spot with that shit because
We were.
I think we were a little older when the Nintendo came out, and Sega unseated Nintendo there for a hot minute.
Yep.
And Sonic was as popular as Mario. I mean, dude, it had a afternoon cartoon special that ran like several seasons, was really successful, sold a lot of units. And I mean, on top of that too, is even though Sega's not creating consoles anymore, they still create a lot of content with that character that sells extremely well. But this is the real point of the article. The title of this article, which is on BBC, in fact, while we're in between bullshitting here, I'm going to go post it on the page. But are fans too entitled? I mean, and the reason they asked this question is because when they released the initial teaser trailer, the fans had a massive uproar as to the design of the character. Well, instead of being a fucking dick like Rian Johnson or Jonathan Kasdan or somebody like that tells the fans to go fuck themselves, he takes this as constructive criticism and says, hey, look, they might be onto something. Look, Sonic apparently is a character that's a 10-year-old boy that's cursed by a witch, and he's turned into that hedgehog character. Initially, they took the storyline of that, and they wanted this guy took the character and said, well, look, I want it to kind of look like a little 10-year-old kid that's been cursed. Well, people looked at that and they were like, this thing doesn't look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
It looks
So he
like
said-
a 10-year-old boy. That's
It looks
been
like a 10,
cursed.
and it didn't
It
look
looked terrible.
It didn't look good. I mean, it had all the makeup of Sonic the Hedgehog. It was blue and furry and all that stuff, but it didn't look like the video game character. Well, the special effects team and the director took this under an advisement. They changed it. They re-released the trailer. The fans went, holy fuck, that's Sonic the Hedgehog.
what's up, yeah.
And now we got $80 million.
Yep.
So are fanboys too entitled? I mean, dude, look. Our entire culture is based on stories. That's it, man. We tell stories to identify shit. We watch this, so we read books, we watch television shows, we watch movies, because the way that we identify with things is watching the stories of other people, a hero's journey, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anybody's too entitled when they feel that they have ownership in something like a property like Star Wars or Star Trek or Ghostbusters or fucking Sonic the Hedgehog or any of these mega properties. I mean, dude, yeah, I think that you should be able to give these fans what they want.
And this wasn't your typical fanboy hate either. This was like everybody was like, wait a minute, this looks really weird and terrible. It wasn't like a segmented group of Sonic fans were like, ugh, and they tried to appease just these people.
Right.
I mean, it was, when they released that trailer, I remember it was like on Twitter for a few days, like, check this out, this is terrible. Like, you know, it wasn't like when we kind of bitch about Star Wars fans being entitled and wanting their whatever.
Yeah.
You know, this is more of a general, everybody was like, hey guys, maybe rethink that Sonic thing. And they did. 80 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the director is actually out there thanking the fans for constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I mean, how refreshing that a studio is
and
not telling the fan base to go fuck themselves. I mean,
and at
that's,
the end of the day, you know, we all know how video game movies go. They usually go in the toilet.
Yeah.
And so for them to go, all right, we're going to do this video game movie, and it's about Sonic, and, oh, it looks bad. Well, you know.
I feel like the conceit of the article that you're taking issue with, Chris, is that they're treating Star Wars and Sonic with equal heft, right? Like
They aren't.
and well,
I mean, it isn't. I agree with
right. So in other words, it depends on the property and it depends on the complaint, right? Ultimately, I mean, like people who are like, Captain Marvel sucks because it's a chick and she doesn't have a romantic interest, or there are stupid gripes sometimes by a certain segment of a fanboy or fangirl community. It happens. But in this case, like when you go to see a Sonic movie, you're going for nostalgia, or you're essentially asking people to come in and see it based on the following that it has. So if you're going to make him it's like Earthworm Jim. If you made him too photorealistic and people are like, ugh, that's not really something I want to go see.
Yeah, but if you read deeper into that article, though, they're sitting there and they're talking about, they want to compare everything to high art and all that shit, Well,
Right.
they're taking away the director's art, his expression of art of Sonic the Hedgehog. Dude, fuck off, man.
Maybe he just didn't know. I mean,
Right.
if he wanted to go photorealistic and show, maybe he just got it wrong.
Well,
It happens.
yeah,
People
exactly.
get it wrong.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't know this about the fact that it was a 10-year-old boy that got a curse.
I didn't know it either. And I don't know if that's canon to the video game or if that's just for the purpose of this movie.
But at least it aesthetically explains why he did that. But at the end of the day, that is not something that people are going to that movie to see. They're going to see Sonic do what he does in the video game in the context of some narrative that has Jim Carrey in it. So don't tell me that photorealism and dramatic intensity is essential to the tale.
But is that any less for Star Wars or Star Trek, though? Hey, look, I'm going there with expectations of continuity in that universe.
Right.
I don't really think that this is any different, honestly.
I think it is different.
How so?
Because I think the fans are different. I
No,
said it.
I mean,
we're not. It wasn't a segment.
well, sure. I mean, look, you like bananas and I like oranges, but the thing with it is that if somebody hands us subpar shit, I mean, the end result's the same.
Correct.
No,
you're right. But my point to why I don't think it's the same is that we all agree it's subpar shit. It's not I'm saying it's subpar shit and you're saying it's good. We all agree it's subpar shit. And that's what Sonic. Sonic, everybody was like, this ain't it. Y'all got to start again. And they started again. Whereas Star Wars, they put it out and I hated it, but somebody loved it. And
yeah, but I mean,
but
dude, I mean, the thing with it is that you're talking about diminishing returns. And on top of that also is, man, look, with Star Wars, you're talking about something that's a monument that's built. It's a fucking massive monument. I mean, dude,
Sonic the Hedgehog is a monument that's built.
Right, and as a result of that, they sat there and looked at it and said, yeah, well, dude, this doesn't look like what we liked.
Agreed. I'm agreeing with you with that.
Yeah, but you're telling me that it's different shit, and
it is different shit because
How?
I think the fans are different. Like there are some fans that are like, that's Star Wars and I love it, and there was like asshole fans that are like, nah, blah, 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 and that's the entitled fans.
Yeah, but you're talking about Sonic that's fucking one movie. You're talking about something else, and I mean, dude, you're talking about a movie that does $2 billion. And the next movie does under that, and then the next movie does under that.
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is that it's diminished returns. I mean, dude,
who's the movie for? That's what it comes down to. Because more so than, say, painting or any other host, even music at this point, all the gear or all the tools you need to create something are democratically available to you. It's not like priced out of your ability to create
I'd agree
something.
with that.
Whereas a big budget movie, there is a return on investment that is expected. So it is the fusion of business and art, and optimally it works out, but a lot of times it doesn't. And if you aren't listening to your fans, you better have a very small budget that can make the money back. Give it to David Lynch. Let him do an independent Sonic.
Right,
with weird talking mouth issues.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, all that shit aside, I'm not gonna use a cheap swipe to swipe at Scott, even though I'd love to. But what I'm saying is, Jesus Christ, you fucking kill me, dude.
What did Jack do on Netflix?
I
Watch
hate
it now.
I hate movies with talking animals.
Except this
Except this hipster bullshit.
Call it like I see it, man. It's good stuff.
Great. So awesome. Anyway, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think, put it this way, I don't think that fans, I think the biggest issue with it is that fans who dislike something, and especially something that has built a universe, like, I mean, Star Wars, and not only Star Wars, Star Trek also. I mean, man, look, there's some disgruntled fans, and there's a lot of them that are fucking dicks. A lot of them. Mm-hmm. But the thing with it is, man, is that there's some people that sit there and say, look, man, I don't like this, and this is the reason why. And they're actually legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
But, man, people, like, then take a shit all over them. And then the company takes a shit all over them.
I wonder if the author of that BBC article would argue that the Eric Stoltz version of Back to the Future would have been better. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, more people will go to see Michael J. Fox, and he seems like a better fit for the part. But that wasn't the vision, or, you know, fill in the blank with whatever nonsense you want to.
But then again, some things work. I mean, we were talking about this before Scott got here. I mean, we were talking about Star Wars, go figure. But dude, how different would those movies be without Ben Burt doing the sound?
Right.
Without fucking John Knoll and Dykstra and Mirren and all those guys working the special effects, or even John Williams doing the score. I mean, dude, imagine Star Wars with a Jerry Goldsmith score. Well, I mean, Jerry Goldsmith is one of the most, is probably as accomplished as John Williams, as far as, like, they are the top. They're the top of the game. But, dude, it would be different.
It would be different. I submit that Star Wars is a unique case because that was an explosion of originality, including the very core concept. In other words, there wasn't a fan base for Star Wars to go, that's not Star Wars, right? Correct. So they had, you know, but it was a smaller movie. They had that latitude. They had to be resourceful. And, you know, that's when you roll the dice. You know, and that's the nature of that business. It is, you know, huge risk, huge rewards, huge losses.
And to kind of agree with you and disagree with the article, and maybe agree with Chris, I don't know if I am or not. You said it. It's a business.
It is.
Yes, it's an art form to create film and to do that. But at the end of the day, they're making a film so that people pay them money.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah. It's a business.
Yeah.
That guy didn't go, you know what? I have the greatest artistic vision. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. No, he's making exactly. Sonic the Hedgehog. And we all want to see it. That's what he's doing.
But he's making Sonic the Hedgehog. But I mean, dude, there is a level of craftsmanship that still goes with that and all those things, you know?
But, you know.
I think it's a lot like architecture. You can't just build whatever fucking building you want to build, right? Like, there are codes, but still within those boundaries, you can create something amazing and wonderful and unique.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I mean, and I don't know if like Sonic the Hedgehog is even like a passion project to this guy, or if he's just an assigned. I don't know. Hey, man,
I'm assuming not.
No, but I'm assuming it's not. But I mean, but look, here's the thing. I mean, look, I don't know anything about movie making. I really don't. I'd love to make one. I don't know, like, really the core of doing it. But I mean, hey, look, neither did Kevin Smith, and he made a fucking movie. But look, I mean, if somebody came to me and they said, "Hey, Chris, we trust you with a $100 million budget, and we want you to do a movie about Metroid from Nintendo." I mean, dude, I like Metroid. I played a lot of fucking Metroid. But I mean,
a lot of people did.
Honestly, I'd like to sit there and look at Metroid, and I'm like, well, if we're going to do Metroid, let me deep dive into this shit and find out what it is so I can make the best possible Metroid movie that I can. Now, I might have some ideas here and there to where I can kind of put my own influence and my own spin on it, but I mean, I'm still going to honor the core source material.
And what if you came out and people were like, Chris, I don't know if that's the way it...
I wouldn't tell them to go fuck themselves,
exactly.
But I mean, and I wouldn't call them, you know, entitled. I wouldn't do that, you know. I mean, but dude, look at Mandalorian. Case in point.
Yep.
You know, look, they came back and Favreau sat there and said, "Look, I'm gonna make Star Wars what it's supposed to be." And look at it.
That actually is another thing. Bringing up Clone Wars again, is that Favreau voices a pretty key character in the Mandalore culture. And I'm just like, of course he'd be the guy. You know what I mean? the guy who started the building blocks of Marvel and participated in this universe and understands how to do it, like having worked with Filoni and understanding his value, and that to me is
there's a rumor floating around, and it hasn't been confirmed, that The Mandalorian was originally going to be a show about Boba Fett and IG-88. That was going to be the original,
I believe it,
setup of the show.
Believe it too.
And then when they came back and they were like, that's kind of, you want you to, he's like, well, fuck, man, we'll put some spin on it. We'll do something different with it. I mean,
yeah.
So
you never see his face but once, and whether it's Boba Fett or someone else. And although they made Boba Fett.
Well, we know who Boba Fett is now. I mean, dude, it's Tamora Morrison.
Right, exactly. So why inherit all that baggage, right? So that makes sense. They did the right thing. It was great. We all loved it. Everyone loved it.
I don't know. I think
except one guy, Cameron Bradford.
I think the thing with it is what we've talked on other episodes. I think the thing with it is, man, is that it's a blessing and a curse. When you create something like this that touches so many people, it becomes it's kind of like it's out of your hands. You don't really own it anymore. It's out in the world now, and everybody kind of owns it because they've made it such a big fucking deal. Yes. And it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, George Lucas, I really don't believe that George Lucas sat back and steepled his fingers and was like, this is going to make me a multi-billionaire. I think the guy was a visionary. He wanted to push the technology of cinema, and he was going to do it with things that really influenced him, which was adventure serials and fucking Flash Gordon. I mean, dude, Gary Kurtz has said over and over again, they wanted to do Flash Gordon, but they couldn't get the rights to it, so they invented Star Wars. I mean, that's...
Thank God.
...what it is, And I mean, that's what happened. And... I think that's the curse of all this stuff. Do I think that fanboys are entitled? I mean, I guess if you want to spin it from that perspective, but I think the thing with it is, man, is that people just kind of have their vision of what it is, and I think attacking people for that, I just don't like this new trend of companies. You didn't like my multi-million-dollar art piece, so fuck you. I just don't
it's
like
only one
that,
company.
Man. I mean, it's a couple of them actually, man. I mean, Paul Feig fucking wrote the Lady Ghostbusters movie, and I mean, dude, he fucking went to town. He got all fucking pissed off, and I mean, the thing with it is, I mean, yeah, I guess you can like go and quote unquote defend yourself, but why? I mean, dude, you go make a better movie. If you fucking hate it, you go make a better movie. Oh, that's right, you can't make a better movie because you didn't fucking put in the work to prove yourself to make the better movie. So, dude, just shut the fuck up. I mean, what, you just can't stand on that? I mean, I don't know. It just makes me really mad. I sit here as a guy who owns a small business. If I went out there and I told my customers, hey, look, dude, this is what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself, I may as well close the doors.
Right.
I mean...
Yeah.
Right.
So don't pick on the people that have the wallet, So no, I don't think fanboys are too entitled. That's just I think that they have ownership in it, and they're very passionate, and they view on what they want to do.
I think it depends on context. There have been occasions where I'm just like, shut up. There have been occasions where there's outcry and outrage. Again, Captain Marvel. They were a small enough minority that it did great box office anyway. So. That the results, it was a good movie,
I'll finish this for you right now.
Yeah.
Fanboys are not entitled, and social media is a bitch. And that's the
it
end
is,
of
yeah,
it.
It is.
That's the whole reason.
And you have to choose wisely how you engage in social media. I think that's the lesson.
No, I agree with that. I think a lot of things is that fanboys, and especially the climate that we live in today, people don't express themselves properly. They go for the low-hanging fruit to hurt people.
Correct.
And they don't sit there and really give a well-thought-out response as to what they feel about something.
You're right.
Honestly, Captain Marvel is a paint-by-numbers fucking piece of shit. It doesn't... dude, I don't think it's a good movie. And I'll tell you why it's not a good movie. It suffers from the same problem as Star Wars. a group of characters, regardless of their sex. I don't care if they're men or women. It is a character that has no weaknesses. They don't struggle. They don't have any fears. They go in, they win, they dominate, and that's it. And that's the problem with the Rey character as much as it is the problem with the Captain Marvel character. It just happened that they're female. You know, I mean, it's just what it is. I think it's, oh, she's a Mary Sue. No, dude, she's a fucking poorly written character. That's what it is. Just like Captain Marvel. I mean, look, I'll spin it from the other. Here's an excellently written character, Black Widow. Give her a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Because she's a well-written character. You know, I mean, that's it. So,
Ahsoka
Tano, give that character a movie. She's a well-written character. You know, so I mean, that's what it is. I think it's just a lot of misguided fucking just screechy bullshit on social media. You know, so.
And that's the problem.
Well, I mean, there it is. So look, hey, we talked, we learned, we did all that bullshit. We took the long way around, you know, to just probably solve something that we could have had solved in 10 minutes. But hey, this is what the show's about. So
the longest yes/no answer ever.
But that's okay, though. Hey,
that's
look.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. We're here to do that and for you to listen to this stupid bullshit. And speaking of listening to this stupid bullshit, you can jump over to iTunes. You can check out previous episodes. You know, we have all this, so we don't save any of them. You know, so I mean, this is where we're relying on the interwebs to hold our mass archive of bullshit. We also do that on YouTube, and you can also join our group, which I did just post that link of what we're talking about. So if you listen to this episode and you want to see the article we're referring to, man, give it a read and throw in your 2 cents. We'd certainly appreciate that. Thanks for listening. End scene.